This video is an introduction to yoga, starting at the very beginning, so you've never heard of the word before in your life. So generally speaking, people sit in a cross-leg position in yoga. So as you can see, I'm sitting on what's called a bolster, which is this big cushion here. Bolsters are really great, especially for doing yin yoga and very relaxation styles. Now you don't have to get a bolster. They cost somewhere, I mean, I don't know, maybe 60, 70, 80 euros. They can go higher, I'm sure. But you can also just use the cushions off of your settee. Totally fine. But if you feel to get the bolsters, they're also great too. Or you might find some other cushions. So some pillows are also great. So I like to sit on it because it's ideal that the hips are higher than the knees, and I don't necessarily have the flexibility in the knees. So sitting like this may not be ideal for everybody. If you have very tight joints, it won't work at all. So you might use some pillows and put them underneath the knees, for example, so long as that's comfortable for you. Because we want to be able to sit in this pose without having pain. And at the beginning, you probably have lots of pain and very uncomfortable, especially for longer than 2 minutes. It's really not nice. And then over time, you'll begin to see how that eases off. So you can use the pillows like that. Okay. You don't have to sit like that either. You might find just sitting with the legs out is okay for you, if that's okay for you. So sitting like the legs out a little bit might be better for you. Okay, or every now and again you might bring one leg in, support that. So please don't ever be afraid to support yourself, especially in a healing kind of class where the energy is low. You gotta give yourself every opportunity to enjoy it as well. Okay, also this here is another pose. It's called Thunderbolt pose. That might be ideal for you. Now that gets uncomfortable actually underneath the knees, and sometimes the ankles can get uncomfortable. So if that's the case, you could maybe have a blanket here or another mat. So you can roll it up so it's underneath. You can roll it up so it's underneath the ankles. You could also put a pillow in between your ankles and your bum, so you're not putting too much pressure on yourself. That's it. And then there's many other variations. Maybe you just want to sit to the side, that's absolutely fine. I'm starting with the seated position because lots of times we might, at the beginning or at the end, take a seated position. So it's good for you to know that there's no pressure whatsoever, and you find a position that your body is able to sit in for some time. So maybe it's not going into full cross position. That might just be too terrifying altogether. So let the legs come to wherever they can be naturally. Great. Great, so now I'm going to show you some of the yoga props. So we have our yoga mat. Not essential actually, because I think carpets are just fine to work on. But for many, they feel it's their sacred space, it's their sacred place. So when they roll out the mat, they're bringing in different energy into the room. So that's really nice. And also it grips you a little bit. The only thing about the mats, and if you get yourself a cork mat or some of the more natural fiber materials, is the rubber mats do insulate you from the earth. So I do think about this, and I think it's important that we are connected to the earth. However, if you walk around barefoot quite a bit, it's no issue. But I do think it's nice to connect back in. However, it is an insulator and Ireland's cold. So if you're in the winter time, perhaps get a mat. Okay, I always have blankets. I think it's good because we do Shavasana at the end. Shavasana means corpse pose, where we lay completely still, no movement whatsoever for maybe up to 10 minutes. And in that time, the temperature goes down. So it's good to have a blanket around so that you can put that over you towards the end. Okay, another accessory here is the belt. So maybe not so much in the beginning, you may not need a belt, but it's a handy thing to have, or the belt from your nightgown works absolutely fine, or any belt at all. And there'll just be sometimes where we might do a pose, for example, bring the hand behind and you may not be able to reach the hand. So we just use a belt then to make it that bit easier for ourselves. So again, it's not an essential, but blocks. These are very, very useful. There's lots of great uses for blocks, especially in the beginning when we're doing some poses and maybe your hands don't reach or that kind of thing. And then we use the blocks to support ourselves. And there's some beautiful yin poses where we hold the position, but we use the blocks to help lift up certain parts of the body. So blocks can be useful. Although I'd say a pillow and a blanket might be your best friend. So I'm going to show you some techniques now. And one last thing, because you often hear these in a yoga class. These are called ting shaws. And when you hit the ting shaws, they break through any kind of energy that's toxic at all, and they bring this immediate light energy in. So you might find these in some of the health stores and shops if you want to know what they're called. They're called ting shaws. These come from Tibet. Yeah, and it's nice at the beginning or the end of class to cut the energy, and we're starting now. Great. We're going to begin our yoga journey. And first of all, we want to know, why would yoga be useful in recovering from health conditions? Yoga helps move energy all around the body. So it's really about the flow of energy. These postures do not need to be elaborate, and actually the most basic of yoga postures are the most beneficial. So we might start, for example, with our fingers. We'll just move our fingers around in a circle. So we'll start with the baby finger. That's it. And now let's move on to the next finger. Making circles, and then we'll move on to the next finger. So we're moving all these in a clockwise direction, for example. And then we'll move to the next finger. And very last to the thumb. So they're all in a clockwise direction. Now go anti-clockwise with the thumb. And anti-clockwise with the index finger. With our middle finger, and now with the ring finger, and back to the baby finger. Okay, so straight off we're just bringing some movement into our fingers. We don't always consider our fingers. So now we'll just go up and down with the baby finger, and then up and down with the ring finger, with the middle finger, with the index, with the thumb. One more time with the thumb, index, middle, ring, baby finger. So we've brought some movement into our fingers. Each of these fingers has acupuncture points and acupuncture meridians. So already we're stimulating different organs and part of the brain. In our hands, more than 40% of the sensors of the entire body are here. So as we move our fingers alone, we're already stimulating our brain. The same on the other side, okay? So we'll move we're going to do clockwise with our baby finger, clockwise with our ring finger, the middle finger, with the index finger, with the thumb. And now we'll go the opposite direction. anti-clockwise. That's it. Okay, and now we go up and down with the baby, the ring, middle, index, thumb. Do the same going back. And we'll wiggle out our fingers. Okay, so this is very simple and this is very basic, and this is also yoga. Okay. And so we'll bring the hands together. And pushing the fingers to one direction, keep the palms upright. And then pushing the fingers backwards. And continuing to push the fingers each side. That's it. So we're bringing the fingers in the opposite direction that they normally go. Stretching out the hands. Wiggle all the fingers. Let's interlock and push the hands away. Bring the hands towards your heart. Push the hands away. Bring the hands towards your heart. Push the hands away. And we'll just let the hands down. So in yoga, the hands tend to be upright on the knees. Okay. So very often you'll see yogis using mudras, and mudras are energy locks. The most common one is bringing the index and the thumb together. This is the thumb is the fire element and the index is the air element. So we bring these together, it balances the two. There's also other mudras. The thumb to the middle finger is the space element of the body. So we want to balance the space element, we hold the middle finger. When we want to balance the earth element of the body, we bring our thumb and our ring finger together. And when we want to balance the water element of the body, we bring the little finger and the thumb together. And the most common one is the thumb and the index finger. There are hundreds and hundreds of mudras, depending on what it is you want to work on. But this is the most common one and it helps concentration and focus. It's ideal that our back is upright when we are sitting. This allows energy to flow up and down our spine. However, if it's very difficult for you to do that and you kind of notice you're always slouching, it's better to put some pillows underneath your bum and lift yourself up till it feels a bit easier. In the beginning it won't be easy at all, and maybe you'll use a wall or just sit at a chair, totally fine. So now we're going to work with the eyes a little bit. The body is sitting nice and comfortable, and if you wish, sit in a chair, sitting on the side of your bed, totally fine. Keeping the head looking forward, draw your eyes up to look right up to the ceiling. So we're stretching the eyeball. Draw your eyes down, look down towards the floor, as far down as you can. You're drawing a straight line upwards, looking up. Drawing a line all the way down, looking down. Looking up. Looking down, and close your eyes for a moment. And now opening your eyes, looking all the way to the right. Don't move your head, just look as far as you can to the right. And then draw a line across the horizon till you're looking to the left. Draw the eyes slowly over to the right. And drawing the eyes over to the left. One more time over to the right. one more time to the left. And close your eyes for a moment. Opening the eyes. Now we're going to look diagonally up to the right and crossing over diagonally to the left. Looking up to the right. Looking down to the left. Up to the right. Down to the left. And close your eyes for a moment. Now we're looking up to the left, down to the right, up to the left, down to the right, up to the left, down to the right. And close your eyes for a moment. Probably never knew you had so many muscles in your eyes. There is a lot in there. And the eyeball is directly connected to our brain. So as we stimulate the eyes, we stimulate the brain also. Often, very often, we spend our day looking straight ahead. And we're less used to the muscles moving backwards and forwards and around. And even if someone calls our name, we're going to turn the head and look straight. So stimulating these muscles has its benefits in the brain. Now we're going to do rotation of the eyes. So when you're rotating the eyes, I'll ask you to be aware of any area the eye wants to jump over or skip or simply doesn't go there. Because that's a part of the brain also that doesn't want to be accessed. And we want everything working and flowing. It's often past memories that are stuck there. So we look up. And then bring the eyes over to the right, drawing a circle all the way down to the bottom, carrying on over to the left, making circles up to the top. So keep going now and being aware of any area that you notice a strain, and then go really slow through that area. Okay, and then rotate in the opposite direction. Okay, so if you're having any difficulty with this technique, sometimes there is some emotions blocked. So the ESR technique that we did earlier, where you put the hand on the forehead and one hand on the occiput at the back of the head, you just hold these points for a moment. And then consider doing the eye rotations again, and you'll usually find it's a lot easier. And rotating in the opposite direction. And even that may be enough for you today, but there's huge breakthroughs in using this ESR technique, where we have hidden emotions, and by hidden I mean they're unconscious. You may not be aware of your deepest fears, and they may come up and restrict you and pull you back from doing things. Whereas if you use the ESR, breathe through it, you'll find all of those alarms stop. And actually you're fine. You can do anything you wish. Now we'll work with the head and the neck a little bit, okay? So we're going to bring our chin down to our chest. And then bringing the chin up to the ceiling. And bringing your chin down to your chest. Take your time. And inhale, lifting your chin up towards the ceiling. If you have any pain in your neck, or maybe if you have whiplash, for example, really don't let that head go back too far at all. And likewise, if you have any discomfort coming forward, just stop at that point where it gets uncomfortable. And then bring the head up to center. So if you have any neck injuries or head injuries, car crashes, falls of horses, or anything that's caused a discomfort in this area ongoing, you please be really gentle with this area. There's no need to squash any areas of the neck at all. Even throughout the program and as you do different yoga poses, please be mindful of the neck area yourself and go and err on the side of caution for your own neck's sake. Okay, so now we're going to bring the right ear over to the right shoulder. And then bringing the left ear to the left. Inhale to the center. Exhale to the right. Inhale to the center. Exhale to the left. Inhale to the center. Exhale to the right. Inhale to the center and exhale to the left. And let's bring ourselves back to the center now again. So likewise, any issues with the neck, you go as slow and as comfortable as you like. So we're not overstraining or stretching at all. So now we're going to keep the shoulders as they are. Turn the head and look over the right shoulder, and we're drawing the head to look over the right shoulder. Bring the eyes as far as you can to the right. Now rotate the head nice and slowly. And maybe you bring the eyes over first and follow the eyes. Okay, let the eyes lead. Over to the right. Draw the eyes to the left. Follow with the head. Again, draw the eyes to the right. Follow with the head. Eyes to the left. And come back to center. So you just go as far as is comfortable for you. This one is really for the T2, the second cervical spine, which is called the axis. And the axis is what turns the head left and right. So we're just ensuring that the vertebrae are all nice and loose. So now we'll bring our chin down to our chest. And we're going to roll the head over to the right side. Then we'll exhale, lower the head down. And inhale, bring the head over to the left. Exhale, roll the head down. Inhale up. Exhale the head down. Inhale up. Now you have the choice to go bring the head back if you wish. I tend to go more forward because I do have a neck injury, and that is why I also encourage people not to squash that neck if you can not have to do it. So we can go all the way around, but as is comfortable for you. Okay, and ensuring that you've gone either back and forward many times, or if you're doing the full rotation, just letting the head be nice and heavy and soft, and bringing the head back to neutral. It's really great. So a few other things that you may hear in a yogi class. Okay, there'll be many Sanskrit names for poses, but we'll be using the English names. Drishti is a word you might hear of, and drishti means a point in front of you that you can hold your gaze. want to hold your gaze or have a drishti, as if you're in a balance pose and you feel wobbly, by having a point to concentrate on, it helps with your balance. So when is a good time to do yoga and when is not a good time to do yoga? Well, yoga covers many areas, but the physical exercise of yoga, it's better to do with an empty tummy, and certainly not after having a big meal. If you have had a big meal, there are poses for that, which are complete relaxation. So if you're very tired, you might ask, is yoga a good idea, or are you even going to be able to do the yoga poses if you really feel you can't even get out of bed most days? So there are different types of yoga and different styles of yoga. It would be ideal to do a yoga style that's more of a yin, restorative, or gentle hatha, because these replenish the body and usually you feel more energized afterwards, rather than doing one which is called a vinyasa or ashtanga style, which you need a lot of energy for and you might feel very drained afterwards if you did such thing. I'd like to show you a few yoga poses now for when you are feeling really tired, but you've slept for days, weeks, months, and the tiredness isn't wearing off. But we still can do some basic poses. One of these is called butterfly pose. So butterfly pose, we bring our feet together, if that is available for you. And also you can bring pillows in underneath your knees, okay? The feet can be as close or as far away. It's okay. So you can bring them much further away, or you can bring them closer towards you, and that is fine. So with butterfly pose, you can stay in this pose for anywhere up to 10 minutes, half an hour. You can go a long time in butterfly. It would be nice to hold the pose for 2 minutes. Now you might use the bed behind you for your back to support your back. You could also allow your body to hang forward if that's comfortable on your neck. If that's not comfortable, we can use different supports, for example. So our blocks can come in useful for just relaxing the head so there's no strain on the back of the neck. And we can lay forward in a butterfly pose. This can be very nice, and also maybe when you're watching TV, or perhaps you have some children and you're sitting on the floor, you might consider sitting in a butterfly style. Okay, so child's pose. Okay. Child's pose. So now we're going to look at 2 different types of child's pose. So the first type of child's pose is we bring our knees more or less as close as we can together. The feet are more or less together as well. We're going to allow our body to fold forward, the head hang forward, and the arms are back by the sides. This is our child's pose. Now there's a lot of reasons why this doesn't always work for people. It can be very relaxing if you can get into the pose, but your head may not go down, for example. So if that happens, we'll put some pillows underneath the head and relax the hands back. Now relaxing the hands back also might be very uncomfortable. So if that happens, just let them come beside you until you get used to doing the pose. If also with the child's pose, we can bring some pillows in behind our bum, and this might help. Let me get everything going here. All right. So some possibilities there. But for others, the one that works a little bit better is if you bring the knees out nice and wide. So this allows space for our tummy. And then we can stretch our arms forward and let the head sink down. So this can be helpful. Now, maybe the arms forward, it's really great for opening the shoulders, but it may not be for you today. So you can bend the elbows and just let your body sink down. You can do any variation there of child's pose. Now, if you do have lots of pillows, another type of child's pose is to bring the pillows underneath and you can lay there. Child's pose is a very beneficial pose and it's so calming on the central nervous system. So by all means, please use supports and get really comfy in it. So maybe you lay a few minutes one direction and then turn the head and lay in another. Now I'd love to show you a laying down pose. It's really nice pose at stretching the side of the body. It's called banana asana, and true to form of the banana, it is in that shape. And how we do it is we lay down on the mat, okay? Then I bend the knees up and I'm just going to lift my bum over to the left side, but I stretch my legs over to the right. Now it's important that the hips, everything's flat. Now I lift the arms up and stretch to the right. I'm going to stay in this pose. And you stay in this pose as long as you can. When you've really stretched as far as you can, or if you want more of a stretch, you can cross that leg over. But that might be just a bit too intense. So what we do then when we're changing, we lift our bum, go all the way over to the right and stretch the legs to the left. Arms to the left and lay here. These are 3 poses which you can use when your energy is very, very low, but you still want to help yourself and get something moving inside. You can stay in these poses for 1 minute, 2 minutes, 3, 4, 5, whatever you feel will work for you today. I encourage you to go a little bit further than feels comfortable, because that's where we really make the breakthroughs in these poses. In yin, it's stretching the connective tissue between the bone and the muscle. So this style of very, very slow and patient yoga is the most beneficial when we're looking for energy. And by holding for about 2.5 minutes, we're stretching the connective tissue in the body, which gives us far more movement and freedom. I look forward to seeing you every week in yoga class. Any questions that you may have, please bring them to the class. And we'll be learning many more postures to help uplift the energy in your body. Namaste.